Hi, it's Lisa. Welcome to Good Knots Macrame. I have quite a collection of beads and some driftwood. I wanted to make a quick, beachy looking wall hanging using these materials. I'm really pleased with it and I want to show you how easy it is to make this. I have more information on supplies in the description box below. You can make this without beads too and it would still be pretty, but I like how they add some extra visual interest. I'm dividing this tutorial into sections to make it easy for you to follow along. This wall hanging uses 19 3mm twisted cords, about 100 inches each. I'm just hanging the cords as I need them, so I'm starting with 2. The cords will all be attached with lark's head knots. For the spiral knots, hang the cords so that the 2 center cords are 20 inches and the outer cords have the excess. The spiral knots take up a lot of cord fast, so you need that extra length. The middle cords simply hold the knots so the length will not change. This spiral knot sennet measures about 10 inches. I'm adding a link to a video if you need more instructions on making spiral knots. As an aside, you can certainly just use a dowel to hang this instead of driftwood if you don't have that. I finished this knot with a bead and I'll show you how I add that later. You can also choose to use a wrapping knot or just leave it as is. Attach 4 lark's head knots, all cords equal length, and we'll be doing double half hitch knots here, starting left to right. I'm adding a link to my double half hitch knot tutorial if you need a little extra help. Here's that little 5mm bead I'm using. For this section, I am using 6. I am attaching it on the second cord from the right. Then I'll continue the double half hitch knot around it. It's super useful to have a bobby pin to hold the bead while you're doing this, otherwise the bead slides all over the place. Check the second one I'm doing, not this one. I'm doing it the more complicated way. So just keep watching and you will see me do it a better way the next time. If you don't have beads, you can make this without them, or add a berry knot in place of the bead, or try a cascading leaves sennet. I'm adding a link to my cascading leaves tutorial. If you choose the berry knot or cascading leaves options, you'll want extra cord. I'd go with about 160 inches to be safe. Okay, here we go. This is the way. As you can see, I'm adding the bead and the second cord from the left, and I'll just be doing this in alternating fashion all the way down. So I've shown you the first 3 beads. Just continue the same pattern for the remaining 3 beads. Your last bead will be on the left side. Okay, I'm finishing this up. You have a few options for finishing the sennet. I'm going to finish with a berry knot. You could leave it as is or finish it with a simple square knot. When making a berry knot, make sure to leave a little room at the top so you can thread the middle cords through here. I'm using 3 square knots to make my berry knot. It can be helpful to use a crochet hook to pull the 2 middle cords through the hole, but if you make it big enough, you probably won't need it. I had it on hand just in case, but it wasn't necessary. Make sure everything is nice and straight. And then finish up with a square knot to hold the berry knot in place. Now it's time for the literal centerpiece. Attach 7 cords evenly using lark's head knots. We're making 4 diamonds. Let's make the first one. The 7th cord from the left will be the working cord. We'll make diagonal double half-hitch knots going left to right. Just a reminder to pay careful attention to each knot as you're making them. It is so easy to get distracted. My little secret is this is the second time I've made and filmed this section. The first time I made a double half-hitch knot with 1 extra knot because I got a little careless and the entire section was stubbornly crooked. I didn't know why until I reviewed the footage. I thought about how I could make it work without tearing it out and starting it over, but since I was filming a tutorial, I couldn't present you with a crooked finished product. So yep, I had to tear it out and redo the whole section. Just for fun though, after I show you the correctly done section, I'll show you the original crooked piece. Sometimes one tiny mistake can be hidden in the piece, but in this case, it just didn't work. The working cord for the right to left double half-hitch knot will still be the 7th cord from the left. The fact that cords can change places used to trip me up. The original 7th cord is now over here, and a new one has taken its place. Now we're going to make the 9 square knots to fill the diamond. Time to start on the bottom half of the diamond. Make 6 double half hitch knots from right to left. Be gentle when tying your double half hitch knots so you can adjust the holes at the bottom to match the top. You'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. You can see I'm adjusting the holes a bit down here to match the ones at the top. If the knots are tied too tightly, it's harder to do that. Okay, let's make 7 double half hitch knots from left to right to complete the first diamond. Time to start diamond number 2. I have some beautiful ceramic beads made with ash from Mount St. Helens I'm using here. These beads are about 5 by 6 millimeters, very tiny, but with holes big enough to fit over the cord. Here's the working cord for the top right side of the diamond, which we'll do first. I'll place the right side bead here. Then we'll do the top left side. This is the working cord for that, and the left side bead we'll add here. After adding the first bead on the right side, I'll take the working cord down to secure it, making a total of 5 double half hitch knots left to right. We're going to leave the last cord hanging. This is the top of the second diamond, which will be smaller than the first one, so no double half hitch knots on the last cords each side. Here's the working cord for the next set of double half hitch knots, but first I'm adding the bead to the 6th cord from the left. Now, using the 7th cord from the left as the working cord, make 5 double half hitch knots right to left. This will complete the top of the second diamond. The beads do kind of get tucked in there, but they're easy to work out. Okay, let's make the square knots in this diamond only 4 this time. Starting the bottom half of the diamond, make 5 double half-hitch knots, right to left. Again, remember to tie the knots gently enough so that you can adjust them to look like the top part of the diamond. Now take the left side working cord and make 6 double half-hitch knots, left to right, to close up the diamond. Let's start the third diamond. Like last time, I'm adding beads on either side of the working cord. First, we'll do the right side bead and the right top half of the diamond. This diamond is even smaller. Make 4 double half-hitch knots, left to right, and leave the last 2 cords hanging. If you're worried you might start working on autopilot, you can lift the last 2 cords up and out of your way, so you don't accidentally use them. Here's the new working cord for the left side. Add the bead to the cord just left of that. I'm making one big square knot in the middle of this diamond using 6 cords instead of 4. You can see how I finished the spiral knot, even though I haven't talked about it yet. This is because, as I mentioned earlier, I had to redo the section after I had finished the entire piece. We'll get to that later. For the bottom right quarter of the diamond, make 4 double half-hitch knots, right to left. Then, to close it up, 5 double half-hitch knots left to right. Follow along with me as we make the final diamond and finish the middle section. This little diamond will only need 3 double half-hitch knots, then leave 3 cords hanging on either side. Now we'll make a square knot in the middle using just 4 cords. Take that right side working cord and make 3 double half-hitch knots right to left. Now let's close it up using 4 double half-hitch knots, left to right. You can choose how to finish this. Leave it as is, or you can make a spiral knot. I'm adding beads. First I'm making a square knot, then adding a bead. Then I'll make another square knot and add another bead, and then another square knot, the last bead, and then one final square knot to secure it. Here's the finished section and how the piece looks so far. Now, let's take a look at the result of my distracted knotting. I made the mistake right about here. Those diamonds just kind of point every which way. Now back to the new one. That is much better. So we're doing the same thing in this section as we did in section 2, but mirrored. 4 cords hung evenly with lark's head knots, 6 beads, but starting the double half hitch knots on the right hand side. The first bead will be on the left side, the last will be on the right side. Like last time, I'll take you through the first 3 beads. Then you'll continue attaching the last 3 beads using the same pattern. And just like the other one, I'm finishing this one up with a berry knot. Attach the last 2 cords using lark's head knots. Again, make sure the middle cords are only about 20 inches long and the outer cords have the excess. This spiral knot will also be 10 inches long. As I mentioned before, you can finish the spiral knots any way you'd like. I'm adding the same 1-inch wooden beads I used for the middle section. You won't need to make square knots above these beads. Just string the bead up to the end of the spiral knot and then use a square knot to secure it underneath. For the fringe, I'm measuring about 8 inches from the bottom of each section, then making simple knots in a sort of haphazardly organized fashion to give it a bit of a rustic look. I tied the knots loosely at first, then when I decided I liked where they were, I tightened them and cut about 1 inch below each knot. I'm using 3 braided cords as the hanger. I tied the cords to the driftwood and then braided the cords to my desired length. Then I tied the 3 cords to the other end. I like showing the tied part in the front rather than hiding it in the back, so it becomes part of the look of the piece. You might use hot glue or fabric glue on the back of both knots to keep them from possibly coming undone. What a great way to use this beautiful driftwood, and the beads are really eye-catching. I'll include more details about these beads and where I found them in the description box. If you enjoyed this video and are looking forward to more content, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. Let me know if you made this and what kind of beads you used. Thank you for watching. See you soon!